Wants to tame me. You can't catch me on the run, cause I'm gone, yeah. I blaze trails, set fire to what's behind me. No, I'm never looking back, I'm on the run. I could only ever be what I'm made to be. It feels good when I'm living on the edge. Watch me now, go like fun, they're gonna stake the ground. Can't stop me now, I don't give up and I won't back down. I'm a force of nature, can't be contained. I got lightning running all through my veins. Watch me now, watch me now.
Hi, I'm Wyatt Milam. I'm from Canova, West Virginia. When I'm back home, you'll find me at my local Par-Mar store.
We have that gold and blue pride at your local Par-Mar store. We are coming to your neighborhood soon. West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, we have you covered. Download the Par-Mar app and sign up for the Par-Mar Rewards Card. Food, gas, groceries, and more, we are gold and blue proud, and we are Par-Mar stores.
If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
Oh, yeah. Happy Valley. This is the Penn State come up right before. Wow. Bringing in Al Johnson right off the bat. Al, Rising, look at this Happy Valley, man. But allowed a little bit crazy there up in Ball State College. Oh, what do you say, Al?
Wow.
You're out, buddy.
Yeah, place to play.
You see right there, man? That's what the Mountaineers are going to get ready for. That's what they got to get fired up for, right?
Oh, no question. No question. Very intimidating atmosphere. Very intimidating.
Right, no doubt, buddy. I'm telling you, the reason why I wanted to play that with you, obviously, because you were coaching at the same time I was playing, and walking into Happy Valley is it's not that you can't win there, because you can, but it's you got to have your game, your A game on, meaning that you have to overcome the crowd noise, meaning you have to overcome the team that's tough. That is one tough place to play.
Yeah, hey, there's no question. I tell you what, it's amazing when they do the whiteout. I've been there when they've done the whiteouts before. I mean, it's so loud. I mean, you talk about a home field advantage with a crowd, but you know what's really intimidating is trying to get to the visitors' locker room after pregame or halftime. I mean, you go back through the crowd underneath the stands, and they have the area roped off, and you're trying to get to your locker room. I mean, you talk about intimidating people. You know, they're yelling at you, they're throwing stuff at you. It's just an intimidating. And then you go in there at halftime, you can't even hear the head coach. You can't hear the head coach talk to you. It's so loud.
Yeah, it really is. And I just keep bringing this up because it's going to be a whiteout Saturday night, September 2nd. And we're 72 days away from that for the Mountaineers. And as I keep telling Mountaineer Nation, I keep telling anyone that's going to listen now, is you got to have a sense of urgency, be ready for this, because this is going to test you and challenge you for everything you got. And to go ahead and do that, it's all part of what we're going to talk about, but you got to go through a process of developing. And in this time, day and age of college sports, developing is you got to do it faster. Let's say, and what you used to do with us and had us for 4 or 5 years is not that luxury that Mike Joseph or Mickey has, or any of your disciples of your strength team that has. They don't have that luxury anymore. And so is there a new way that you have to figure out that system?
Well, I'll tell you what, one thing, Wolf, I think that, you're exactly right, but I think, the one thing I think that kids, you'd like to think that they're better prepared coming to college than than what you were. You're talking about late 80s, early 90s. But kids, better prepared mentally, physically to come to play college football. But it's, the time frame to develop athletes today, with the transfer portal, I mean, it's insane. I mean, you just don't have the time. And if you're thin and you don't have the depth on your squad, I may be a young pup, maybe needing another year of development. We don't have time to develop you. We got to play you now, or somebody goes down, somebody gets hurt.
That's for true, Coach. And I got to tell you, right here, we're going to take care of a little business before we actually kick into this. This is Allan Johnson, strength coach. He is in the I was going to say USA Today, USA Hall of Fame strength coach. You are also with the CSCCa, which is Collegiate Strength and Conditioning Coaches Association. I got it right, brother. All right. And so we got it going on. Subscribe on YouTube, West Virginia football, and the voice of college football. Why? Because the WolfMan's call the show, it rocks football. Yes. Tell me that's not exciting. I know you're happy to be here. And you know what else I'm happy about, Al, is when we're on Facebook, everybody can share it, just like Kelly shares every day. Kelly McCord, I love it. And then just like on Twitter, you retweet it. It's on there. It's stores. You can watch it anytime you want. You just don't have to watch it live. So the WolfMan's call. And pretty soon the Allan Johnson segment of development is coming on here, man. So let's get after it. Let's do what we said we were going to do and talk about development. What is development, Sir Allan Johnson?
Well, I'll tell you what, Wolf, it entails, great question. It entails a lot of different facets of training, a system. I mean, the 6 things that jump off the page to me as a former strength conditioning coach, the things that make up the components of physical performance are: 1, strength. When you think of strength, I mean, that's picking up heavy things every day, picking up heavier objects. This increases your work capacity. I'm talking about lifting, pushing, pulling, carrying. I'm talking about power, explosive movements. If you think about, I mean, the most neglected area of the human body is the posterior chain. We're talking about the rear part of the body, and the most explosive, most powerful muscles you have in your body are in your hips and your buttocks area. So we're talking about hinging your hips, triple extensions, and most of all athletic movements are generated from the hips. Speed. You're thinking about, hey, I'm a 325-pound offensive tackle, or hey, I'm a 210-pound receiver. I mean, speed is important relative to the position I play. And, you think about speed, you're talking about running, you're talking about jumping, you're talking about little things like, just think about something as small as a jump rope. You're talking about skipping, hopping, jumping, and those things that you may or may not still see with kids. Agility, change of direction. And just in the game of football, 80% of the game is change of direction. A lot of athletes focus on straight ahead linear speed, but the game itself, one of those parameters of physical development is agility, endurance, conditioning. What do they used to say? Fatigue makes cowards of us all.
Yes, I remember that one very well. I had to fight it a few times.
Yes. And then, probably one of the most important components of physical development is flexibility. If you take a show of hands of, if you go into a group or you have a camp or a clinic or whatever it may be, and you're working with a group of athletes and you have them, hey, raise your hand if, wherever you're from, in Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Tennessee, when you go in the weight room, come out of the weight room, how important is flexibility to you? Do you stretch? You stretch on your own. Majority of those kids are not going to raise their hand because it's not fun. It's boring. So those are 6 things, real important things. I mean, we're not getting into the mental aspect of it, but those are the 6 physical parameters of development.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at your Twitter page, and if you want to follow Coach Johnson, Coach Al Johnson, it is at MT Pride 51. If you're on Twitter, MT Pride at MT Pride 51. Again, he's the Chief Development Officer for CSCCa. Now, you got to tell me what the MSCC is. It's got to be something about speed, right?
No, I wish. Hey, I couldn't run that fast. I was an old offensive lineman like you, but no, it's a master strength conditioning certified strength coach.
Oh,
yeah. And what it was, there's now after this year, just after this year's national conference we just had in Orlando, Florida, there are now 310 coaches in the world that are certified as master strength conditioning coaches certified.
Okay, well, that's pretty good. I say Mike Joseph is one, and his whole tree, just like
And
your
Mickey
tree
Murray.
going down, and his tree, and he certainly, I think, will be the coaching Hall of Fame there for strength and conditioning as well. That's my pull on that. But I got a question for you because Joey here, he says he's wondering how many times did you have to bust on me to make me work hard in the weight room, or did you have to bust on him for anything else? He says, spill the beans, man.
Tell you what, I didn't really have to bust you too much, Wolf, because I had your two brothers, Craig and Ronnie, on speed dial. So, hey, I knew. Hey, all I had to do was like hold my phone up and show you that I had their cell numbers, or just to hold up a picture of Ronnie, maybe in a Mountaineer uniform. But no, you were. Tell you what, you were relatively. The road had already been paved before you got there, and you were very easy to work with. But you had a great work ethic coming in, so you had a lot of the intangibles that we needed to be successful as far as development.
I can remember, and we're going to get back to development here in a second, but always good to take a sidetrack story. I can remember a couple coaches coming down with some recruits and their parents, and I was going for a max squat, and I hit my head against the bar like a dummy, and the blood just started. You know how you bleed a lot from the forehead, and it's a superficial wound, and the blood just burst out. I think we lost those recruits.
I don't think there's any doubt. Probably scared them. They probably thinking, "What the heck is going on down here?" They haven't even got to the playing field, and he's already bleeding.
I'm like, who's this strength coach, Allan Johnson, who's letting these kids hit their heads against bars to go do a max? It's kind of like doing smelling salts.
Yes. Oh yeah, no question. Ammonia capsules. Remember ammonia capsules?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just whatever it took to motivate to try to exceed your upper limits.
I can remember, I swear, I can remember doing the bench max, and you're like, boom, boom, hit me in the chest, boom, boom, let's go, man, boom, boom.
It's funny you say that, Wolf, because in 2014 when I got to East Tennessee State, I was still doing that, and then I remember one kid, big old kid, he was about 6'4", about 295-pound guard, and tough kid, young kid, and he said, Coach, I understand why you're doing that, but I really don't want you to touch me. And so I'm like, okay, Mark, I get the point. He said, hey, I don't really need that. And besides, it hurts. Don't do that.
Oh, my goodness.
So I stopped doing that after that. But
I gotcha. Okay, well, hey, everybody goes through different cycles in life, and whether that's an improvement or not, I enjoyed it. It got me fired up. I mean, yeah, you're right. Yeah, let's do it. All right, but
Wolf, you'd already been slapped around by Craig and Ronnie and your family, so it was normal for you, right?
I already came through the train, man.
Yes,
the tracks, traveled them down them, no doubt about it. All right, Coach. So again, as talking about this in the development here, and let's go back to, let's say, our time, because we got to really give your history here just for people to understand. Is not only were you a West Virginia strength coach and Ohio State at the top of the time there and with other schools, but you're also in professional baseball, and you've had to go through a whole range of athletes. And when we talk about development, we're not just talking about football players or whatever. We'll get specific about that, but we talk about development. I want parents and the kids, the athletes, to understand what that is and what that means and where it's come from.
Well, Wolf, it's my first 7 years at West Virginia, came as a young strength coach out of a small high school in southeastern Ohio. I'd been there for 3 years, came as a graduate assistant to West Virginia. Coach Dave Van Hallinger, former Mountaineer All-American who just passed away here in the last 3 months. But came there and had a great experience. Had 21 teams, had 3 weight rooms, had 1 GA. my first tour that I was there twice in West Virginia. But the thing it taught me, the opportunity to work with different teams, different athletes, different sport coaches, really helped me understand the differences as far as training athletes, and then had the chance to go to, like you mentioned, professional baseball. And, in the college realm, you're working with 18 to 22-year-olds. In the professional level, I'm working with baseball. I'm working with 17 to 40-year-olds now. So I've got, I'm going into baseball, professional baseball. I've got men at the major league level that are, 30 plus years of age. Now I've got to adapt and adjust my training program for them, for what they can do, what they're comfortable doing. And, so when I went to the Orioles, I had 25, 26 man roster on the major league level. I had 6 minor league teams. I was also in charge of training and traveling to and fro, et cetera. But I really learned how to adapt and adjust the training, the overload, the resistance training, the techniques of training, adaptable to the age group I was dealing with, and the different needs of pitchers, outfielders, et cetera. And it was an eye opener for me. And then when I got a chance to come back to West Virginia, which I was very grateful for and very humble for the opportunity, when I was at West Virginia prior to that, I worked with all sports. Went to baseball, came back to West Virginia. My primary sports were, basketball, football, wrestling, and volleyball. Those are my primaries, and baseball and primaries. And so my approach to working with athletes was different, because I'd been, I'd just spent 5 years with a professional athlete, ages 17 to 40. And then from West Virginia, from that point, left West Virginia, went to High State, worked exclusively with football. Then after High State, went to Northwestern, worked with football. Then East Tennessee State, 2014, I left the Midwest, left the blizzards of Chicago and the iced over Lake Michigan, come to East Tennessee State to work with football, and also work with baseball here. But so it's really been, as far as development, I had a great chance of having a great variety of athletes, and athletes with different needs, and as far as where they were at and the process of their development.
Yeah, you sure have. And that's why what I say is you are the master of development, because there's been a whole wide variety of what you've been through and seen and learned, and heading back to the 80s in our time to now, so much has changed in your industry. And so to make it easy for our people out there, parents and athletes, if you want to go ahead and say, I want to train my kid, he's in junior high or he's just in high school and he's got a couple of years to start trying to develop, how do you play it? Because so many, schools aren't, I think we were talking earlier, we said some high school coaches are doing the same things we were doing back in the 70s and 80s. And so how are they to go ahead and do that when they don't have a super stud like you telling them directly what to do?
I don't know that. I don't know. Well, if you stay anything long enough, in my case, if you screwed up enough athletes, you finally get it right eventually. But I can tell you, the thing is, I would look, if I had a young, son or daughter that was, middle school, you're thinking about, hey, implementing some type of training program with them. The things that I would look at is, first, can they handle their own body weight? If they can't do 10 push-ups properly, or they can't do 5 chin-ups, then I'm definitely not going to put a heavy overload as far as heavy bench press or a squat or things like that until they can handle their own body weight. And then the other thing is flexibility. Gosh, that's like beating a dead horse. But flexibility to me is maybe flexibility, recovery, and nutrition may be the biggest three things as far as development. As far as the overall development of an athlete, but especially flexibility. If I can increase my flexibility or maintain my flexibility, I can get stronger. I can reduce my instance of injury. But we're working with young athletes. I definitely work on body weight. Tell me the last time any of you listening have went by a playground and watched anybody jump a rope. How many kids jump?
Oh, wait a minute. Don't even get me started on that. Because that is the one thing. And I told Joey there, he asked me about his kid who wants to be an offensive lineman, but it doesn't matter about offensive lineman. It matters about footwork, man. There's nothing better. Is there?
No question. Hey, if you can, when I came to Tennessee State, and I don't mean to indict what we were, I had 85 18-year-old freshmen in my first year here in 2014. I probably had 30% of these 18-year-old freshmen who couldn't jump a rope. I told them, I said, hey, call your parents tonight and tell them if they have an attorney, I want them to go and I want them to sue your middle school gym teacher who rolled out the ball and you played blood ball. I want you to sue him because you're an 18-year-old young man playing FCS Division I football and you can't jump rope. I'm scared. You're really scaring me right now. But if you can't hop, skip, jump, and you're not flexible, those are the premise or those are the foundations of athleticism to become even a better athlete.
Yeah, hey, you see Coach Madera, man, Tommy Madera.
He's up there in Jersey. He's up there in New Jersey.
Hey, I'll tell you what, there's a guy there that just dominates every year because he coaches. Now, he gets some athletes, too. I've seen it, so he's not all that because I've seen him with some good football players. Coach Madera, man, great to see you, brother. You'll be on the show. You'll be on. There's no doubt about it.
Great coach. Great
guy, right?
Great guy. Unbelievable.
I got to tell you one quick story about that. Another side story, but he started out at West Virginia. He came on and he was on our floor, and we had the football floor. And that poor guy, he had to deal with all the characters of the freshman floor. Absolutely unbelievable, Coach Madera, man. What a professional he is, though, Al.
Hey, but Wolf, you forgot to mention he had to deal with Karlavich too.
Oh, yeah.
That was,
well, so did I, for crying out loud. That's not easy for anybody.
No question.
Okay, so we got to. So you start out with a jump rope, Al, and where do you progress from there? Like, is it worth getting a strength and conditioning coach for personalized, or can you go to groups? So how do you look for that, and how do you find out who's the real deal and who's teaching what should be taught right now? Not back where I'd be like, listen, you got to do the squats, man, and you got to do that, and then you got to do the power clean, and don't worry about anything else with the bench. You know what I mean? Hit the curls for the chicks.
Well, Wolf, let me tell you this. Strength is the easiest fitness component to develop. You may think otherwise when you get in the bar and you're getting crushed and it feels like concrete, but strength is the easiest fitness component to develop. Speed, agility, quickness, change of direction, and flexibility are much tougher. So if I'm looking to hire someone to train my child, I want to see what the premise of their basis of their training program is. Are those components there? Are they working on movement? Are they working on change of direction? Are they working on speed? Are they working on flexibility? And that thing is, I want to know if they're certified. There's at least two strength conditioning bodies. One is the one I'm work with, the Collegiate Strength Conditioning Coaches Association. The other is the NSCA, National Strength Conditioning Association. Those are the two most recognized certifications in the world by certifying bodies that are widely accepted throughout the nation. As far as throughout the nation, in terms of if you're going to hire a coach, but first of all, I want to look at their credentials. Do they have any type of certification at all? If they have no type of certification, I don't want what they did 25 years ago back in high school. I don't want that. It's like, it's you got to adapt with the times. But, if all they're going to do is take my child in there, and all we're going to do is lift weights, they're the wrong person. I want someone that balances the program, that builds, not only strength, but all the other parameters and the physical attributes that we've talked about, that we've mentioned already.
Yep. All right. So question from Keith, man, he gets the impression there's fundamentals of strength training that kids are not being taught today. Is that true?
I'm going to say in general terms, yes. I tell you what, it's, there's a lot of good coaches out there. There really are. There's a lot of good trainers. There are a lot of good performance coaches. But, the thing, I tell you what, one thing I can tell you, I'll tell you two little things you can look for. I want two things. One is a karaoke, and the other is a shuffle slide. And when I look at athletes from middle school up, and they struggle to do a karaoke, and I'm talking about being an athlete now. If they're a Nobel Peace Prize,
Well, explain what the karaoke is.
what's that?
Explain
What's
what
that?
that is. The karaoke.
Well, no, we're talking about you singing late at night somewhere. But I'm telling you, if they have troubles with doing a karaoke or a shuffle slide and their feet come together when they do a shuffle slide, then they haven't been taught properly. I'm going to tell you that right off the bat. The other thing is if somebody puts them under a heavy, overload as far as some type of weight, and they struggle and they have bad technique. Those are things we're not looking for. I would rather start out with a dowel, some type of wooden dowel or just a bar, and teach them the fundamentals of the exercises first so they become proficient. But again, we go back to body weight. I mean, if they can't handle their own body weight, why am I putting an external load on? Those are the things I'm looking for. And if
I don't have an answer to that question now. I would not do that. I would say, hey, if you're struggling with your body weight, let's get you to that point before you can continue on, right?
Right. No, exactly.
All right. Okay.
And then, Wolf, the other thing is, hey, look at the program. Is the kids, I don't want it to be too easy, but I don't want it to be too hard, because when they first initially start out, if I make it too hard, they're not coming back. They're telling their mom and dad, hey, I don't want to train with that him or her, because, it's, you got today's society, I got to integrate some fun in there somewhere, but I mean, I've got to integrate work first, and fun second. I can't do fun first, because if I do fun first, I don't know if we're ever going to get to hard work.
Well, I don't know about fun first, because if I remember right, there were a couple of years there with Coach Nalen, our conditioning was an aerobics instructor, a woman out on the field, and she had 125 guys around her, and you guys jacked up the music. It was Monday nights, remember? Monday night, or was it Sunday night? Monday or Sunday? I can't remember. But Monday. You never had so many football players jazzercising because the girl all the guys liked.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing was, we're just trying to get you moved, try to get the kinks out, try to push out some lactic acid, and try to get rid of some soreness. And we thought, what a better, more entertaining productive way of putting all of you on the field. But I don't know if you remember, in the wintertime, we used to do them upstairs.
Yeah.
In that big giant room up there, and we used to have 3 aerobic sessions. It'd be on Wednesdays, and we had guys that would fight or jockey for position to do the aerobics. And we had guys that would stay there for 2 to 3 sessions, because they enjoyed it, and they sweat, which they equated that to being a successful workout. But they didn't know they were they're improving their footwork, and they were getting more flexible and getting in a little better shape at the same time.
And it really got us away from thinking about football and strength and conditioning. And you know what I mean? It really was a smart tactic.
Yes.
And I got a question here from Joey. It says, do you prefer the old strength and conditioning or the newer style? What I mean is all the machines they have today compared to the 80s, etc. Should it be more hands-on?
Great question. Well, first and foremost, if I want to develop athleticism, I want to go to as many free weight exercises as I can, because I'm creating balance. I'm creating coordination. Machines. I mean, there's particular things in the weight room, lap pull downs, etc., leg cinch, leg curls, and things like that you may still need to do. And you know what? You've got to adapt what you do to the equipment you have. Now, the other side of the coin is, hey, I may not have much equipment at all, but I can adapt and I can adjust and I can use whatever I have. If I've got sandbags, I've got stones, I've got bricks, I've got rubber bands, I've got machines, I've got 6 dumbbells in the corner, whatever it may be, I can do body weight exercises. So, I prefer, I personally prefer, and I think if I want to develop more athletic, a better athletic base, I want to go as many free weight exercises as possible.
Yeah, and I want to just add to that, because I can remember doing it, because Penn State, they did all those machines all the time, and I'm not hitting on them about anything.
And Michigan too.
And Michigan, okay. And as that free weights, man, there's nothing like controlling the weight, because you have to balance it, and that added to the internal body, the core.
Well, Wolf, let me tell you this exactly. because you're talking about training with free weights. I'm developing balance, coordination, and core strength. But the thing is, I can tell you for years, when Penn State and Michigan, I mean, you're talking about some elite athletes now. You're talking about the cream of the crop athletes. The thing that NFL scouts coming through, they'd say, hey, some of the best athletes we see are at Michigan and Penn State. But the thing is that we're not seeing. They're strong, but they don't have great explosive strength. They're not doing explosive movements, explosive exercises. They have great resistive strength, but they don't have great explosive strength. So I'm talking about, I'm dating myself. I'm going back 20, 25, 30 years. They would draft those athletes, obviously, because they're got great skill sets from Penn State, Michigan, et cetera. And it might take them a year for them to adjust to the explosiveness of the athletes they were facing on every Sunday in the NFL.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So, hey, before we could go, hey, Mr. Topeka, thanks for watching the show. That comes from the pod man as well. Such a great person, Rob Pod Bessick. Hey, he was back in the 60s, Al, former player there. We got some legends here today with guys with Pod, and you got Coach Madeira on that. That's just really cool. That's what I want the show to be about, just a conversation, man. And you coming on here and talking about this development. So I guess today's last question for you, Coach, is you got the certification. You want the people to do that. You want to know that they're following the same thing. Is it worth it to go ahead and invest in strength and conditioning coaches on the side?
Wow, that's what is it? As a strength and conditioning coach, whether it be at the college level, the professional level, the high school level, I would say, I guess, good question, because it depends on how much you trust the coach at that college, that university, that high school, et cetera. The only thing I worry about is the athlete listening to too many voices. I want there to be one voice as far as like training the athlete. And the thing that you have to worry about is overtraining. Are they compatible? Are they collaborating? Does the strength coach in the private sector, do they know what the athlete did that day in the weight room, or yesterday, the day before? So what can happen, you can increase the probability of injury just because of overtraining, because of maybe what your child is doing in the private sector, and now what they're doing with the coach at the high school, college, professional level, whatever it may be.
Okay. Well, hey, listen, I misspoke. There's another question here for you, so I like to cover it. And it's, hey, Coach Johnson, is better to work with a player that has played in college level or transfers?
Is it better to work with a player that has played in college?
Yeah, okay. It sounded better when I read it the other way. I guess it's talking about transfers, like guys that are just transferring in. I'm sorry. Hey, Mount Laird Kenny, if you could go ahead and re-explain that a little bit. Because
just elaborate a little bit. But, the thing is, guys coming in transfer portal, you don't know what level of training they've had. You don't know what level of development they're at.
That might be what he's talking about, is like, how hard is it Kenny said yes. All right. Yeah, so that's what he's talking about, the transfers coming in. Go ahead. Continue, please.
Yeah, just saying that, it's with the transfers coming in, you don't know what level of training they've been exposed to. You don't know what level, you don't even know their work ethic coming in. You don't know if they're good, bad, or indifferent. In an ideal circumstance, which, today's world with the transfer portal, it's not normal anymore, because the strength conditioning coach, is the one who's going to take the brunt of the fall in terms of, if an athlete doesn't physically perform at a high level, then all eyes shift to the strength coach, where the strength coach may only have had that transfer for maybe 1 semester, 1 year, 2 years, maybe a grad transfer. In a perfect world, it'd be like it's been for years and decades going back. You get that, you got that 4 to 5 year window to develop. And the thing is, look at the premise of what West Virginia football has been based on look at the 21 years that Don Nealon was there. You're not getting 5-star athletes. You may sneak a 4-star in every once in a while, but the majority of the athletes, football players we had at West Virginia were 3 stars. So you're talking about development. For me as a strength conditioning coach, I enjoy working with developmental players to develop than I did with athletes that thought, hey, when I went to Ohio State, every freshman that came in thought they were going to the NFL.
Yeah.
Thought, they're going to spend a year, they're going to spend their 2 years and they're leaving.
Yeah. Yeah, I got you there. Okay, so I'm cutting you off here, but I want to get Kelly's question in here. And Kelly's in a wheelchair, okay, and he wants to know the best way for him to build his body upper strength.
Oh, wow. Good question. Very good question. Assisted chin-ups, assisted dips, machines. You're talking about machines that are adaptable, lat pull-downs, machines where you can possibly be assisted to get under and like to do a chest press or do a shoulder press, things like that. The one thing people miss, Wolf, is grip strength. The stronger my hands are, a direct correlation. If my hands stay strong, my shoulders stay strong. And hope there's a study out there that believes that increasing hand strength increases shoulder strength. So, things like squeezing balls or grippers, those things will help with upper body strength as well.
Yeah, okay, very good. All right, Kelly, hope that answered your question, man.
I hope it helps someone.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, another question. Is it more important for an athlete to have a compatible demeanor with the strength and conditioning coach as opposed to any other coach? Well, he's going deep there, Mr. Psychologist, right off the bat.
That's way deep. I think, as far as demeanor, I think they have to be. Great question. Because if you think about on a football team or a basketball team, the amount of time that an athlete spends, there's two people on the staff they spend the most time with. One is the head coach. The head coach is responsible for the entire team, and the strength conditioning coach. I think that the athlete has to be. I think the athletes have to be trust. I think trust is the biggest thing. But I think the athlete has to be willing to have. Has to be able to adapt and adjust to the coaching stuff. I mean, what I mean by that is that they have to have a thick skin. I mean, because you got to be tough. I mean, what's the quote? I'd rather sweat in preparation than bleed in the battle. And so what I mean by that is that I want the preparation. I want the work in the weight room to be tougher. And what I mean by that is that the strength coach is going to stay after you. He's going to push you. And so when you get to practice, when you get to the games, hopefully it's easier. But
okay, well, let me add in my thing there too, because I think as when I was with you, I came in, I'm like, as a freshman, but this and that. I miss home. My girlfriend here, she just broke up with me for the fourth time this week, and going back and forth. And really, you had to listen to so much. So I think compatibility is with the mental process, because strength coaches, at least during the off season, where they spend so much time, and the whole strength staff, let's not just go there, right? They have to be a little bit of a psychologist.
Well, I think you have to be more of a psychologist now in the last 15 years than you've ever been, because I think that, and one thing that I can tell you, I think that the better coaches, whether it be a sport coach, a position coach, a strength coach, the ones that are the best at what they do, and the ones that line up and are in sync and the athletes respect more, are the ones that understand more about the background of the athletes they're working with in terms of motivation. Your accountability, the discipline, et cetera, are the same for all athletes, but the way you manage, the way you motivate each athlete is different in terms of what their backgrounds are about. Because I know, what I'd like to do is I'd like to Q&A the staff, the coaching staff, 2-3 times a year about the entire roster. Tell me about the background of Dale Wolfley. Tell me how he grew up. Tell me, did he grow up with one parent? Did he grow up with two parents? Did he have one parent that was in prison? Did he have a brother that was shot? I wanted to know all these things so it helped me in terms of my relationship with each and every athlete. And so in terms of the way how I motivate, some athletes I have to kick in the butt. So others I pat them on the back. Some of them you give them a hug.
There's no doubt. Hey, listen, man, I've kept you way over your time. I thank you for that, man. And Joey, I got a lot of questions, man. I think it's going to continue. So I guess the thing to do is to tell everybody that you are going to develop a series for us here in the summer coming up. Are you going to do weekly or, if you go on vacation or whatever, but we're going to keep it rolling, man, where you're going to get specific and talk about development. So all these guys, man, I want you to come around and we're going to do it. Are we going to do it Thursdays or are we going to do it?
Thursdays would be great. If you have me back, I appreciate it. Hey,
I got one thing I want to say to you before you go. I'm looking at your Twitter, and it says your Chief Development Officers, CSCCa, MSCC, former college pro, strength and conditioning coach, love mountains. And my question is, is that your Twitter or is that for your dating account?
that's Twitter. That's Twitter.
Right. Hey, Coach, listen, man, you are the best. You always were the best. And since I've known you since 19, really, I think when we started out with Ronnie
1982, right? 1981.
Yeah, 81. And going back, golly, that's so many years. Look great. Thanks for your experience. Thanks for coming on the show. And thank you for developing this series, because I think it's going to be a huge impact and a great thing for everybody else and myself at the WolfMan's Call.
Thank you. Hey, appreciate it, everyone. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Take care, brother. We'll see you now. All right, Al Johnson. I'm telling you, that's a Hall of Fame strength and conditioning coach. He's one of the early guys that we were always strongest. West Virginia back in my day, we didn't win every game except for the games we went undefeated in the regular season, but we always beat up teams. Always because we were strong and we were hardcore. And teams, this is a known fact that teams the next week would go out and lose a game because they're still trying to recover from the physical punishment they took from West Virginia games. That's Al Johnson. That's the core. When the old guys know it, when young guys that don't know it as much, that's the guy that had a huge hand in making that Don Nalen switch at those times, getting into it and becoming on a national stage. Okay. Yes. Don't get me wrong. So I don't get Bob Bessick fired up and the rest of the guys. Yeah. I already know about you and Bowden and Coach Carlin. And you got all our respect. We're talking about the Don Nalen era because that's when Al came in. That's when we came out there and the strength just took off. And because of Allan Johnson, man, he's going to be on there Thursdays now. Mark that down in your calendar, man. Thursdays. That's excellent. All right. So what are we going to do next? I promised you I'd look at some recruits here. So let's go ahead and let me find them out right here. Recruits. We're going to go ahead. Oh, here we go. Let's check this out. I like this cat. This is a cat down in Florida, defensive back here for the Mountaineers. He's a commit. Not sure when he committed, but he did commit. And let's check this out. There we go. Look at that. That is such groovy work there. Okay, so we got Romanus Frederic Jr. That's not how you pronounce it. I am sorry. That's what it is for me. So let's go ahead and roll this film. This is the WolfMan's Call, breaking it down. Now you see him here. We're going to look at also Keelan Flo today if we have time. And he's another defensive back. They have one more defensive back. But today I want to look at Romanus because I like this cat. I like his hips. Okay, I think he's 6 foot. I like his hips, or maybe he's 5'11", kind of in between there. His hips are good. The guy likes to challenge. He wants to challenge the wide receiver right off the line of scrimmage. And you know what? If I'm a cornerback, that's what I want in my cornerback. That's what I am. That's tough. That's physical. And I'm going to show you all this there that's physical because you know what? It's special. When you have the ability to have the skills, to flip the hips, to bend the knees, to do that backpedaling the way you should, to have that speed. But then you add in, hey, guess what? Just because I'm a skill guy, because cornerbacks are skill, probably one of the highest skilled athletes on that field, but a skill guy. But does he like the ball? Does he like to play football? Does he like to hit? Well, let's go ahead and look at Romanus here and see what we got. I like him. You see him there in the circle on the bottom. Okay, he's got to go off screen, but look at this. Okay, so there he is. He's got a guy coming in. That was cover 3 right there, I believe it was. And it was zone for sure. The free safety's coming over the top. But here he is at corner. All right, The receiver's coming over, but what is he doing? He's looking at the quarterback because he's in zone. So when you're in zone, you can go ahead and be looking there because you're dropping back. If you noticed his backpedaling, his knees were bent. They were correct. Sometimes you can't find, they're not being taught, these youngsters, how to correctly backpedal. He is. He's got it. Somebody taught him when he was younger. And watch, he's going to go ahead and get the interception. And there he goes, and he finds the ball. You got to love this. Again, look what he's got. He's there. He's got to make the play. What is he? He's a ball hawk because he knows where the ball is. Go to where the ball is. Don't go. You see the defender there? That was in his zone. That was his third zone right there. But what did he do? He went and played the ball. So that tells me he's a ball hawk. It means that he can change possession. Possession. That's a good thing right there. And we'll go ahead and go to the next play right after this. Sometimes I get a little bit crazy and I want to just show everything I can. But look at this right here. Okay, this is a 5-star wide receiver for commit for FSU. Obviously, it says it right there. But watch him here. Watch his hips. Watch him start. Watch him stop. Watch his body level. His level of gravity here is really good. And we're going to get a closer look at this right here. Look at this. Look at him flip his hips right there. Did you see him open up? That is right there, extremely athletic. I can't tell you how great it is when I see these young guys that are not 5'8", not 5'9", not even 5'10", but corners that are higher. And I think West Virginia is going after those type of guys. I think the coaches like them a little bit taller because I love them a little bit taller. If they can still do what the smaller guys do. But this is a big-time recruit receiver, so our guy is a big-time recruit cornerback, right? Because he's covering him, and he's not being fooled. He's flipping his hips. He's starting. He's stopping on the dime, cutting right there. You can see him cutting. So that's what you want on a corner. That means a guy can play man coverage, and then he goes to play the ball, which is at man coverage, plays the ball because he sees the receiver looking up. It all goes in and fits in one after the other. That's a mature cornerback athlete. Let's go ahead and check out the next play. Oh, shoot. All right, here we go. Same thing, but look at it. Slow motion. Can't get sick of this. Look at him start and stop. Man, that's good. He's doing it by feel. He could have his eyes closed doing that, and you would see it. You're going to see the long ball here, the deep ball. All right, where's he? He's behind everybody. Why? Because he's got wheels. You know what wheels are? Speed, baby. Speed right there. He's there. That's what I want to show. He's got wheels. And what does he do again? He makes a play on the ball. That's 50-50. What's 50-50? Who's going to go up? Receiver's got a chance for it. DB's got a chance for it. 50-50. Oh, look at this. When I tell you about coming up and challenging the receiver, he's not a coward. He's not afraid. Look at this. Right there. And did you see the hips open? Watch him run. Watch him run. No one's getting away from that. You know what they call that? They call that like sticky glue because you're covered on him, right? Covered on him. Very good. Okay, again, you got to like it. You got to like it slow motion. Look at the hips. Now, he's not pressing them. He was showing press, but he's not. He's giving the release, and he's right there to flip the hips. Do you see the knees bent? Did you see his low center of gravity? That's what you got to look for when you're looking for a Division I Power 5 player. Look at this. He's coming over. He's got another, the same guy that the 5-star recruit. He's coming up, and he's making the play, and it's pretty darn cool. Look at him coming over. He's right on him. He's right there. He's right on him to make the play, and it is excellent, excellent, excellent. You got to love this, the film. Okay, what is this? Oh, I know what this is. All right, he's playing cornerback, and he said, oh, look at the hips. Do you see the hips? This guy's coming at full speed at him, but the hips open up, and he runs right with him. He's on him like glue. Look at the hips right there, right in the turn. That's what I'm talking about. You got to love it. Slow motion, it's pretty. If you can open up on a guy's coming at you full speed, you're backpedaling, opening up, shows good stuff. Oh, there we go. You think I like this one? Oh, he's taking him. There, I said before it wasn't pressing, right? This is pressing. This is like Jimmy Johnson, who I coached at cornerback at Phoenix College. I taught him how to press because I lost my cornerback coach right before spring ball. I had to teach him how to pass pro. This is it right here, man. That is good. Good. Look at this. Oh, hands on. Where's the receiver going? He's going out of bounds. Tell me you don't love that. All right, here we go. Does he like to hit an open field? Does he like to make a tackle? Well, the film's not great, but you can see him here, not afraid. I think he should keep his head up a little bit more to be safe, but he's not afraid to make open tackle. He's not afraid to go after him. Very good. Again, another press one right here. Oh, no, wrong one. Oh, yeah, no, the press at the top. There you go. His hands are on him. Where is he? He's going. He's out of bounds. He's not getting away. Guys, don't get away. And now, add this on here. Special teams, right? Now, I'm going to tell you something, okay? I'm not going to try to blow smoke anywhere, but I'm going to tell you this, is that this team in white does not look very athletic. But, again, he's doing what he's supposed to do, and he's running on by him. Where's that? 1, 2. Do you see those strides? 2 strides every 5 yards. That means that he's fast. When you can go 5 yards in 2 strides, you are fast. There's no doubt about it. Again, as he's doing another punt, I think it's the same white team. Not going to try to go ahead and I don't see anyone out there with that kind of skill. All right, that's good for that. And that is my breakdown here for my man. That's good stuff, huh? That's good. It's Romanus Frederic Jr. He's I think he's Fort Lauderdale, St. Thomas Aquinas. Good commit for the Mountaineers. He's a 3-star. I don't care about that. I take that kid, and I say, you know what? I want you, man. You got courage, man, because you will cover. You will run with people. You will flip those hips. You will be people. I get fired up when I see an athlete that's committed to WB. I like watching it. You just heard from Al Johnson about development. This young man obviously has development, and I get fired up, man, and we're going to keep breaking down these commits as they come. So next week we'll get started. We're going to have Frank Fear next week coming up. We're going to have a lot of good things. We got Al Johnson doing this series, and we just keep doing it. So again, if you can, subscribe to YouTube for the Voice of College Football, the West Virginia channel. Subscribe to YouTube, and you can watch that. You know what? They got Joey Foster on Friday nights. You got Mark Rogers, man, going national. He's got 27 channels on there, something like that. He's extremely knowledgeable, ESPN guy. That's totally kicking can on his own. So you got to be able to appreciate that. And with all that being said, man, it's like this whole thing coming up. Football is 2 months away. We're going to be doing this all summer long, 4 o'clock. Share, retweet, whatever you got to do, man. We're going to build a show because we're going to have the greatest of guests, just like Al Johnson, doing a series on here, man. That's a Hall of Fame strength coach coming on here and helping out for the Mountaineers, for WolfMan's Call. And so with that being said, I got a little bit of film in, give you a little bit of taste there. Maybe we'll get to a linebacker next week. We'll find out about them. I want to stress one more thing. If your kids want to develop, if your kids want to be an athlete, doesn't matter. Have them jump rope, make the $20 investment as parents, as whatever it may be, help the kid out, have them jump rope because you can't do anything else. And so, with that being said, we got to bring back the Big East. Yeah. Wouldn't that be nice to bring back the Big East? Am I taking any calls? Right now, I got a rant with Reno, Joey. So today, I'm going to go ahead with my rant with Reno, and then I'll open it up if someone's going to do it. But I promise Reno, he's been driving me nuts, going back and forth. I'm not sure. We're going to have to figure out if he's going to make it through the show today. But here we go. Reno Bellamy, a man named Reno. How you doing today?
What's happening, Wolf?
What in the world were you doing there?
What do you mean?
You kept coming on and off on the backstage there.
I'm back in the backwoods here. I'm in a secret location. The internet's not so great.
Well, the next time I tell you to come on the show, find a place where the internet is great.
I'm going to park in front of your house.
To the WolfMan's studio. All right, man. So here we go. Here's my rant, Reno. My rant is this: is doing business. When you do business and you are acquainted and you've done business in the past, or you have an acquaintance in business, or you know the person to some degree, and you reach out and you're trying to inquire if they want your services. And if people don't respond, and I've read this, the whole new thing, it's the new thing, this whole new culture that stinks. All right. This culture is if they don't answer, it means no. Well, what kind of silly stuff is that? I mean, what happened to being cordial? What happened to, hey, listen, man, I don't have the time to talk to you, but I'm not interested. But thanks. Thanks for thinking of me. Hey, how about this? Hey, yo, Wolfman, what's up? Yeah, I don't care to, but thank you. Or, hey, listen, man, I'm not even going to give you a thank you. I'm just going to say, no, not interested. Because at this time, whatever it may be, but getting back, and I want to know how many people, like the new no is not to respond. I mean, is that how I'm supposed to grow up? Is that how I'm supposed to treat? Am I supposed to treat people like, hey, listen, Wolfman, can I do this? You know, is it this?
Hey. Bird watch.
Bird watch. But is that what I'm supposed to do? It's like, hey, Wolfman, no, I'm not interested. Not interested. I mean, that's what it is. So my rant is all this is, hey, why can't you go ahead and respond? Am I that beneath you that you think, well, I got no time for this jag?
Woof.
Come on, there's my rant.
That's your rant. Listen, a no answer doesn't necessarily mean no. People, I get it. It would be way more respectful to say, I got your message, because in today's age, if you're sending a text message or an email, they may not have gotten it. With all the stuff that's going on, spam, text messages, everybody gets hacked, all that garbage. You would like someone to know, yes, I have received your message and I will get back to you. I understand that. But a no answer doesn't necessarily, not a no answer, with no response doesn't necessarily mean no. It just means everybody's got so much going on. Maybe it just haven't got to it yet.
What do you mean everybody's got so much going on? Like,
oh, you kidding? It's constant. Messages are constantly coming at us. You can't do anything without having things thrown at you. You got all the spam hitting up, people calling, people texting. And I'm sure the people that you're trying to get a hold of are busy, right? No, you don't think so?
No, I think so. But I mean, I think I've had relationships with them, like friendship or some kind of professional relationship. That I can say, hey, not interested, man. Or, calling up. I'm not calling up to ask for money. I'm calling up to offer you a service, or I'm calling you up to ask for charity, or you know what I mean? Because I'm such a charitable person. And
sure.
so when people contact me, I'm going to respond. It's called RESPOND, and it's called RESPECT. Respect.
Yes, I do understand that. But let's talk about. Let's say you got your hands in so many jars and you get 500 emails or text messages a day. You can't possibly respond to everybody immediately.
You can't. All right. Immediately. How about never?
So wait a minute. Have you been ghosted?
Dude, that's what I'm talking about. This whole thing is ghosted.
Are you the new Chris Evans in his new Ghosted movie? You've been ghosted?
I have no idea what that means, Reno, but coming from a guy like you, in fact, I'm not even sure I like your attitude today. Okay. First of all, you come out there. I asked you to come on the show to deal with the rat. You know what you did, but now you're in a place that doesn't have great Wi-Fi.
You can hear me, right?
Well, I mean, it's like not great.
Does it sound good? Or you just don't like the words?
I don't like your responses.
I don't disagree with you, Wolf. I don't disagree that it would be the right thing to let someone know that they have received your message and they'll get back to you. But it depends. How long are you waiting? How long are you waiting before you get sour?
Wait a minute. Joey's saying I ghosted him for 4 months. Oh, that's a bunch of crap.
That's a long time. That's a long time. That's not cool.
I don't know what he's talking about right there, but don't call me out, Joey, on my own show.
Well, hold a minute. Now, wait a minute. If someone thinks they ghosted you, maybe you didn't get the message. That's the point.
Well, if that's the point, well, then, let me ask you this. If you have so many messages coming in, all right, okay, maybe you should have the resources for an assistant. that could actually
Fair.
okay, especially if you've done work with them in the past. Whoa, see that? Are you there?
I'm here. Oh,
See? Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
All right. So Reno, I'm going to tell you
I
something.
thought you cut me off. I thought you
No.
were so mad. I thought you cut me off.
I don't have to do that because that's
I thought you went click.
no. You know what that is? That's your crappy Wi-Fi that you found the worst place in the world to go to. I mean,
I'm working.
hey, you know what that's called, Reno? It's called RESPCT, respect.
That's fair. That's fair. I got to work on it.
Officials. All right. Well, listen, man, I'm going to tell you this because I think that you were so much better yesterday. Okay. I mean, like you actually brought some stuff to the table and a tight situation to talk about. And today you've totally wrecked
That topic from yesterday, it's got to continue. Everybody's talking about it still.
Yeah, you're not listening to what I'm saying. You're saying what you want to say. You're not comprehending, right? Because you know you're Spanish, right? There's a comprehendo.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Comprehendo. Okay, that's my Spanish to you.
Thirsty Thursday. It's time for margaritas.
All right. Well, it doesn't look like you're getting anything on that back deck. All right, so Rio, because you got us good yesterday.
Is your rant over? Are you sour? Are you not sour? What's
Yeah, that was my rant. It was like, hey,
So you're still sour right now. You're not satisfied.
If I text you, respond.
You're not satisfied with with the possibility that people have not gotten your message.
No, I'm not. Because well, guess what? You're gonna sit there and then you're gonna say, "Oh, should I go ahead and do it again? Should I try, or is that being a pain, or is that being annoying?" Because you know the WolfMan's never annoying.
Never.
Never. All right. So with that being said, Reno, yeah, I'm going to leave us at a sour note. And until next week, you're fired.
I'm out.
You're out. All right. All right. We got anything else going on? That was my rant. Tried to get off my chest. You know what? I think people should respond, be cordial, treat others the way you want them to treat you. And just a little bit of kindness in the world makes a lot of difference and makes the world go round a little bit easier. It's kind of like you put a little grease on the axis of the world, if you get the idea. Axis. Okay. Anyone else want to jump on? I promised Joey I would let anyone jump on if they want to jump on. And we went a little long with Al Johnson, but I thought that was special stuff. I mean, I'm not going to cut that off. Hey, the great thing about having a show like this is you can make it go on all you want. But Joey, wait a minute. Don't come on here and tell me I ghosted you for 4 months. Are you there?
Whoops, sorry, I was muted. Yeah, you did. I mean, like last year when the football season kicked off, you know, we met up in Pittsburgh and hung out there at the restaurant and stuff, you know, and had everything going on. And after that football game, hell, I didn't talk to you till the end of football season.
Well, I was busy.
Yeah, we both were a little busy.
I mean, you had your show going. Hey, tell us what's going on in your show this week.
So this week, really Friday night, 8:00 on YouTube, West Virginia football at the Voice of College Football. Really is not a really big show. We're just going to have some fun. I'm going to bring a guy on that's a fan of Vanderbilt, who's really intelligent about coaches. I mean, he knows he follows coaches really closely and knows win losses and stuff, and he wants to come on and talk. And then I've invited a couple other people on just to hang out with us for a little while. We're going to talk some West Virginia football. We're going to talk recruiting. We're going to talk statistics and talk about the old, talk about the new, talk about you, Wolfman. You know, we're going to promote your show like crazy over there because this is a great show. So
a lot of people are talking about me, but it's not always good.
Oh no, it's always good. It's always good, man. The best publicity is bad publicity. I love it when people talk about me. The more they run me down, man, the more my price goes up, right?
Well, I'm going to tell you this, Joey, is you're one bad dude, man. I'm going to talk all about you, brother. Listen, man, hey, I appreciate you coming on. And this is Thursday, so we're Monday through Thursday. You're coming up tomorrow, Friday, 8:00 at night. Mark Rogers, what's he got cooking on?
Oh man, Mark's into everything, isn't he? I mean,
Yeah.
so we do our West Virginia shows on Friday nights at 8. Sometimes Mark joins us for that, and he may join us this week. But then Mark goes live on the Voice of College Football channel at 10 o'clock, and that's a complete call-in show. You can call into the show, discuss your football team, any football team that you're a fan of. So, and explore a bit and Sam there, yeah. How's Joey have internet is the main question, right? Joey's in an undisclosed location with good internet service right now. So, but really looking forward to the next from now until kickoff on Mark Rogers, the Voice of College Football. We have so much going on. I mean, we got some huge guests that are going to be coming up, and things. We talk to coaches, athletic directors of every school, not just West Virginia. So it's great to always tune in to the Voice of College Football anytime you can. And always got videos up, always new shows. We've got channels from Michigan to West Virginia to Georgia, SEC channels and stuff. So, come over and check us out. And another thing too, just to give everybody a little idea of this, call into this show. You can click the link that Wolfman sends out there, and that link's very easy to use. It talks you right through it. You just type your name in. You can be on camera. You can be off camera. Come in and let the Wolfman know your thoughts on West Virginia football, college football in general, or anything that you'd like to talk about. Is that right, Wolfman?
That's right. Current events, man. Just make sure you come in and you're cool, and you're not a jag, right? Because I can't be a jag to them, so I don't want them to be a jag to me, right?
Yeah. No. I see the chat there. Traveling Pool says where in the heck did Joey find a Bandy fan? Yeah, they were hard to find, but I found one.
So you found one? Yeah. I'll tell you what. I'm not going to talk smack, but Bandy, come on.
Yeah.
And that's coming from a guy that was a fan of a team that was won 5-7.
Yeah, exactly. All right, man. We'll talk at you later, Wolfman. Everybody call into the show anytime you can.
All right. Thanks,
Have
Joe.
fun. All right. See you later.
Appreciate it, brother. And with that being said, right here, subscribe on YouTube, West Virginia football at the Voice of College Football. Why? Because Wolfman's Call rocks football. Listen, I'm getting a lot of feedback from you guys, and most of you are liking it, and even some gals there. And I appreciate that. We're really working hard to bring some important people like Allan Johnson. I can't stress enough how much I love Al, even though I've known him for 40 plus years. But the fact is that he's so knowledgeable. Just to gain the knowledge of and glean a little bit of it, of what he has to offer, I think is really something special. So, guys, Thursdays, tune in. Al Johnson coming on with segments on development. It's going to be a great series, great series. And then, of course, I talked to Angelia Barnett just today. She put on there that she wants to come on and talk about the WVU Pride, the marching band. Angela, absolutely. We'll talk about it. And if you need, I have my number, but you come on, you communicate any way you want. But we'll go ahead and we'll talk about what you're doing, the alumni and supporting and all that good stuff. So I don't know. I see somebody named Kenny here. All right. Kenny, let's see. Do you hear me? You good, Kenny?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. How can I help you, sir?
Hey, it's nice to finally get to talk with you, Dale. I've been a fan of yours ever since you played college. I love what you do when you break down the films and everything. You to me, you're one of the smartest men in college football.
Oh, now let's make sure everybody knows that I did not pay you to say that.
No, you did not.
All right. Very good, Kenny. Okay, cool. Well, listen, man, thanks so much. That's what we're about here is going ahead and breaking down film and getting on the inside and giving you the truth and giving you the facts where we're not going to sugarcoat it, but we're not going to crush either. We do everything with as respectful as we can. We got to make points. We make points. And the whole part of the show is for you to come on and to be able to express yourself. I mean, that's what's so cool about it. Have the Mountaineer brothers come out, Mountaineer sisters. It don't matter because we just want to hear from everybody. So I thank you for coming on. Is there any other thing a question you have?
Yeah, I'm just I can't wait to see how Mallinger when he transferred over to the receiver side, along with Gallagher and EJ Horton. I think you have all three of them on the field at the same time. Vertical is going to be the only option on that route. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a great thing. There's nothing more I love than verticals, but I want verticals to be set up. I want them to be set up in a way. I don't care how you set it up, but I don't care if you start. You do some 5 yards. You just do hitches, right? Do a hitch, and then you do a hitch, or then you do a curl, or then you do an out. But whatever you're making this DB do, what he's got to stop, and then come up
Right.
and attack, whatever it may be. And that's when you do what? You go vertical. You do the hitch and go.
Play action fake.
Yeah, play action fake. That's what you do. And that's what I love. Listen, I'll take a vertical with no play action fake or whatever, and then it's successful. Sure, I'll take that shot. But what I really love is when I see the game and I see an offensive coordinator really cooking, and he unlocks the defense, and because they're questioning, because you're setting them up, and then there you go, the double move, right? So that's what I love. And when you want to talk about Gallagher, now listen, I'm like this. Rodney Gallagher is a freshman. He is so talented, and probably the biggest recruit of that class. And when I say that, I mean it. But at the same time, he's just a freshman, and I don't want to throw anything on him. Just like with C.J. Donaldson last year, I thought Neil Brown handled it with expertise to bring him in the way he brought him in. And there wasn't a whole bunch of hype. There wasn't a whole bunch of pressure on him. He kept advancing in camp, and that's how he succeeded to the Pitt game through the rest of his 6 games after that. And so again, I think that's the perfect way to bring him. So with Gallagher, with Rodney Gallagher, I think that's the way you have to see if he's ready to play, because you just never know. You never know, Kenny. Freshmen are. But the other guys, yeah, man, we got to indoctrinate them in. We got to get them going. And that was my whole point with Allan Johnson and talking about development, because you got all these new bloods, right? We just call them new bloods, being in the program for a short time, whether it be 1 or 2 years. And then those new bloods, you have to develop them, I think, very quickly. And I think there's ways to do that. And the first way to do that is to take the pressure off them by establishing a strong running game. If you can do that, then it's not on them where it's going to be 3rd and long every time. It's not going to be 3rd and long where you're putting the pressure on the quarterback and the receivers to move those chains. When you can go ahead and you can make it 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, even 3rd and 4 is something that can be more acceptable, as that then the defense is guessing about passing and running. So that's how you help the new bloods out, just right off the bat. That's how you get it going. And yes, I think that these receivers can be special, but they got to go ahead and get on the field and do so. And that means that they have to be on the same page as the quarterbacks, the offense, as their coaches, the wide receiver coach, and of course with the offensive coordinator. And that's how you put the whole package together. Does that make sense, Kenny?
Oh yeah.
All right. Good.
Makes perfect sense.
Anything else, bud?
Now that's it. I want to thank you.
All right. I appreciate it, man, because you're the first one. You know what you're gonna do? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna send you a hat. I got a whole bunch of hats I'm gonna start sending out, courtesy of the Hawk man, Keith Hawkins. And I got hats. So I'm gonna get your address, man, and we're gonna go ahead and send you a hat, all right? Because you're the first guy to
All
come.
right.
Yeah, because the first guy besides Joey, Keith, or a guest or whatever to come on. Mountaineer fans, right here, baby. We got it down. Thank you very much, Kenny.
Thank you for having me, and it's been a pleasure.
All right, brother. Take care. Have a great day. All right.
You too.
Kenny Z, man, right there. That was cool. Come on. Jump on board. Kenny Z did. Hey, it's easy. I'm not going to bite. And we get some good football discussion. And if you want to compliment me, that's okay too. All right, folks. God bless you all, man. What a week it's been. So good a week. So good. And it's not been so good. We had Hillary Jeffries on for the National Football Foundation. Let's not forget about Aaron Beasley, Jim Carlin, Randy Moss down there for getting voting. You can only sign up to June 30th. It's the only time and to be able to vote. And if we get those votes in there, we can certainly help them get in. I want to see Bees, man. There's no doubt. I want to see the other two, but Aaron Beasley's a brother. He's killing bees, man. And he was an exceptional player for the Mountaineers. So if you can, sign up at $60, but it gives you the opportunity to vote. We thank Hillary Jeffries. So many people that came on. Justin Market came on, another fan, donor that came on to say, hey, what's up, and talking. And just some really cool stuff is really cooked. The show's starting to cook, guys and gals. And I just want you to know we're going to keep evolving it, really trying to press it, to get the good stuff, to get the good guests, get good information, do some good breakdowns, do some honesty here. And it's the Wolfman's Call. So God bless everybody. Have a great day. And remember, the Wolfman's Call every Monday through Thursday.
Hi, I'm Traylon Davis. I'm from Jackson, Ohio, and when I'm back home, you'll find me at my local Par-Mar store.
We have that gold and blue pride at your local Par-Mar store. We are coming to your neighborhood soon. West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maryland, we have you covered. Download the Par-Mar app and sign up for the Par-Mar Rewards Card. Food, gas, groceries, and more, we are gold and blue proud, and we are Par-Mar stores.
If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
Stationers, #1 office supplier in West Virginia. Always in stock.